Francis has died. It comes just one day after he surprised the faithful with an appearance on Easter Sunday. The Vatican made the announcement, ending an often turbulent reign marked by division and tension as he sought to overhaul the hidebound institution. Norah O'Donnell has a look at his life and legacy.
The Holy Father set the tone with his first official act as Pope, reversing a centuries-old tradition. I want to ask you a favor, he said. Before the bishop blesses the people, I ask that you would pray to the Lord to bless me. He named himself after Francis of Assisi, the saint known for his simplicity and humility. The first pope to hail from the Americas, the first Jesuit pope said he wanted a poorer church, one that would include the excluded, rather than living in the lavish papal apartments where popes have lived for hundreds of years. He set an example by choosing to live at the Santa Marta, a simple guest house on Vatican grounds.
What an honor.
That's where we met him in April 2024. His desire to reach out to ordinary people sent the bulletproof Pope-mobiles into storage. I cannot greet people from inside a sardine can, Francis famously explained, even if it is made of glass. He'd become one of the most popular public figures in the world, regularly speaking up for the voiceless and leading by example, whether dining with the homeless, washing prisoners' feet, or providing a home in Italy for migrants and refugees fleeing lands torn by war or economic instability. He was a tireless advocate for the rights of migrants, even taking the rare step of delving into a nation's politics when he criticized the Trump administration's plans to deport millions, saying it violated human dignity. The Holy Father pushed for progress in combating climate change, projecting imagery of the crisis on the front of St. Peter's Basilica, and becoming the first pope to issue official Vatican documents on the topic. He reformed the Curia, the central administration of the Church, appointing lay men and women to run Vatican offices, positions historically reserved for cardinals and bishops. During the coronavirus lockdown, he continued to give his public prayers, the People's Pope in St. Peter's Square with no people. Francis made a daring first-ever papal trip to Iraq, despite immense security risks. In the last years of his life, nearly every appearance included prayers for peace in both Gaza and Ukraine. Can you help negotiate peace?
What I can do is pray. I pray a lot for peace, and also to suggest, please stop, negotiate. A bad deal is always better than an ugly defeat, is it not?
Over time, his papacy began to be defined by a topic he did not choose, the wave of clerical sex abuse scandals that stretched to the very highest levels of the Church. He was accused at first of being tone-deaf in his slow response to the crisis. But then, in 2019, the Pope made sweeping changes to allow for greater accountability and transparency. Francis abolished the top-level confidentiality of pontifical secret. You have said zero tolerance.
It cannot be tolerated. When there is a case of a religious man or woman who abuses, the full force of the law falls upon them. In this, there has been a great deal of progress.
A few weeks after we interviewed Francis, it was reported that he used a homophobic slur in 2 private meetings. But in his more than a decade as Pope, he voiced support for bringing the LGBTQ community into the Church. That push started aboard a papal flight just months into his tenure. Who am I to judge, he said. While he may have received widespread credit for changing the tune of the Church, as one Vatican reporter puts it, the lyrics remain the same. Despite drawing fire from Church conservatives for being too liberal, he reaffirmed Church doctrine opposing gay marriage, but allowed those in a same-sex union to be blessed. The Catholic rules for pretty much everything from birth control to ordaining women were unchanged. Hailing from South America, Pope Francis's simple style was a product of his humble beginnings. Jorge Mario Bergoglio was born in 1936 in Buenos Aires to an immigrant Italian railway worker and a housewife. As a young man, he lost part of a lung to an infection, worked at menial jobs, and studied chemistry. Ordained at the late age of 32, he made visiting slums and caring for the poor of Buenos Aires a fixture of his ministry. Francis claimed he only brought a small bag to the conclave that elected him because he expected to be going back home to Argentina. Instead, he became one of the oldest popes in history, having traveled to more than 60 countries and keeping a busy schedule until the final days of his life. But he wasn't immune to health issues, using a wheelchair since 2022 and spending weeks in the hospital in 2023. The toll of the papacy, raising persistent questions of retirement after his predecessor, Pope Benedict XVI, resigned, the first pope to do so in almost 600 years. So you have no plans to resign or retire? I know you don't like this question.
No, la diga, sí.
Not at all. Ask all you want. It has never occurred to me.
When you look at the world, what gives you hope?
Todo.
Everything.
Uno ve tragedias,
You see tragedies,
pero ve
but you also see so many beautiful
tantas
things.
cosas lindas. Uno ve madres heroicas,
You see heroic mothers,
hombres heroicos,
heroic men, men who have
que
hopes and
tienen
dreams,
ilusión, mujeres que miran
women who
adelante.
look to the future.
Eso a mí me da
That
mucha
gives me a lot of
esperanza.
hope.
La gente quiere vivir.
People want to live. People forge ahead, and people are fundamentally good.
Fundamentalmente buena.
Again, Pope Francis, dead at 88 years old.